It's better this way. It's better this way. It's better this way.
Hilborn and Tully, they are a great law firm here in the state of Connecticut, and Dan Tully was kind enough to join us today.
Good to see you.
And Barry, I want to thank you for joining us today too. Barry's got a little bit of a story. Your wife started showing signs of Alzheimer's, and that's the topic of conversation today, about 12 years ago.
Right.
What were the beginning symptoms, Barry, that you noticed?
The normal ones that you think of is forgetfulness, not remembering how to cook,
Right.
to prepare meals, losing your way, just the simple things.
And in 12 years, your wife went from just little forgetful things to now she's completely at 100% has to be cared for and in a facility.
She can no longer do anything herself. She has to be lifted out of bed. She has to be fed. She has to be put to bed. I mean, she has no
And Dan,
control.
you call it the disease that's dying twice, because you die once while forgetting everything.
It's like you've lost your loved one twice. Once you lose your loved one to the disease, where they no longer recognize you. And the second step is when you naturally pass away. And unfortunately, Barry's been through the 7 steps, this booklet we've prepared on how to address these issues, both legally, financially, and how to prepare yourself. Barry went to many different Alzheimer's support groups. He found out about different ways in which he could address this issue.
And you've become an advocate now, Barry.
Absolutely.
You gain by experience.
Right.
I had no experience when she came on with the disease because my family's history has been heart or cancer.
Exactly.
So I had no knowledge of Alzheimer's.
Can
at
we
all.
quickly go through the steps?
Absolutely.
All right, so the first one is to become informed. You want to become informed about the disease itself.
And one of the ways in which people can become informed is call in. We've got a free booklet all about this, all about the different things you need to do for how to prepare yourself if your loved one has Alzheimer's. One thing you have to do, Scott, is not just put on a happy face and say there's no problems.
Right.
There are problems. If your loved one's getting forgetful, you can get a lot of good free information. That's what Barry did. He went through all these different steps in finding out the local Alzheimer's Association, considering joining a support group, discussing how your loved one feels. Early on, you can sign a lot of different legal documents. You can also express what's going to happen. The sad thing is Alzheimer's is not curable, and you are going to pass from it. So you can express your health care wishes in advance, which is what Barry and his family went through.
It's kind of like signing a healthcare proxy. You want to make sure that you know what exactly is going to happen, who's going to get what, make the determinations as to how you want to go. You know, it's like you have to face the inevitable. Unfortunately, the disease, as you said, there's no cure for it. And you've put together this nine-point program, which is absolutely free to anybody who will call or email.
Absolutely. Not only is it free for that, if their loved one is going through this, we give out a free consultation so that they can try to address these things. And it's important that you find out there's a lot of resources out there. And you want to make sure that you're dealing with a doctor who has experience with Alzheimer's, and also you're dealing with attorneys that have experience with Alzheimer's.
Barry, did you go, what was the hardest thing that you had to deal? Was it more the financial, or was it more the spiritual connection with your wife, or was it equally painful for both?
It's equally painful. Usually at the beginning part, it's the crisis. You keep going from one crisis to another crisis. At first, you're just trying to take care of the person. Then the business part of it, the legal and all of the other aspects filter in. And then at the last stage, where my wife finally had to be committed to an institution, it's the loss of her.
Right.
You know, I took care of her for 8.5 years.
How long have you been married?
We've been married, and next week it'll be 51 years.
Yeah, that's tough.
So you take care of them, and you lose your identity because you're solely taking care of a person.
I like step number 9, Dan. It's relax. What does that mean? How are you trying to relax?
When you've done everything you possibly can, and you've been through the process, and this is the step that Barry's in now. He told me before that he held her home for so long, and it was so admirable, but once he finally had her placed, he realized that other folks could provide better care. But the beautiful thing about what's happening now is there's so much that Barry's doing through the Alzheimer's Association, through the Alzheimer's Resource Center, to help other families, that he's done everything he possibly could, and he's quite the advocate.
Okay.
Like I said, I had to when she went in, I had to surrender her care.
Right.
I had to give.
You have to give up.
I have to give up. I have to get on with my life.
Exactly.
Because that part of my life, that 50 years to get, that's over, and I've got to move on.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story, Barry. Appreciate it. Dan Tully, attorney at
Scott,
law,
great seeing you
who
again.
I trust and admire. Thank you so much.